Okay, welcome to our Lanterns reaction review discussion, whatever it ends up being. Before we start, do we want to talk about our history with Green Lantern as a IP? What is your experience with the
Should
Green Lantern IP?
I love the comics,
Hmm.
but I hate every time it's been used in live action, and I also hate every time that Hal Jordan is overlooked and then just let's go on to the next Green Lantern and feature him as our main guy.
Which
I want Hal.
which which
Yeah.
comics have you personally read, or which ones have you watched videos on or whatever?
I've read some of the new ones. New ones as like the ones around 2018 and stuff. But apart from
Oh,
that,
very new ones.
um,
Okay.
yeah, Infinite Crisis, The Brightest Day, Blackest Night, the both of those sagas. Extensively, I've seen videos on those. Yeah.
Okay, so my first exposure to Green Lantern was, I think, through the Young Justice animated
Hmm.
TV show.
I
And then
see.
I worked backwards from that into the JLA animated TV show, which was Jon Stewart, right? So he was
Right.
always the first Green Lantern I was exposed to. But then,
Hmm.
comics wise, when I was getting into it, I actually started on the Green Lantern Green Arrow run, which was in the 80s. And
Right.
that was my first Green Lantern comic I actually read much later, maybe like COVID era or just before
Hmm.
COVID era. I actually sat down and read Emerald Twilight, Final Night, and there's one more comic I'm forgetting, which was Hal Jordan's villain arc, which, very not great feelings on that, but sure.
That should
And
be Emerald
then,
Twilight, right? The Parallax Saga.
yeah. So Emerald Twilight, Final Night, and one more comic I want to say is
Hmm.
Emerald Twilight is him going crazy, becoming
Yeah.
Parallax, killing Green Lantern, and also the birth of Kyle Rayner, I want to say. And then
Hmm.
Final Night and the other one is his redemption ish into becoming the Spectre. And
Right.
then after that, I read through the entire Jeff Johns run. So I read
Hmm.
Secret Origins, I read Rebirth, Recharge, um, the Return or something. And then I
Hmm.
read through Sinestro Core War and Blackest Night, Brightest Day,
Yeah.
that
Right.
entire saga. And I know of stuff that happens after that. So I know of like Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz or whatever his name is.
Hmm.
But I haven't read any of those personally. So that's my general stuff on it. But reading through all of that, Jeff Johns being like a massive Hal Jordan fan is what
Hmm.
made me a massive Hal Jordan fan. And then I think it's always been Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, John Stewart, Guy Gardner for me in the for the
Yeah.
main
Yeah.
four.
I'd agree with that order as well.
Yeah, yeah.
All
But
right.
anyways, let's see how much of any of that they use in this.
8.
What?
Hal continues.
Surely you don't air this footage, right? Someone's death, you're just casually airing it like that.
Also,
Primetime
who
TV.
has a camera out there is like, oh yeah, I need to get the footage for this
I
eventual
mean, I
crash that's
guess
gonna
he's
happen.
doing
And,
test pilot, like
yeah.
testing, right? So I can see some footage being recorded, but regardless, he surely wouldn't air it, right? Someone's
Yeah.
literal death. Okay, am I the only one who thinks that the way they divide the sectors is
Hmm.
completely stupid?
Oh yes, I agree with you. It's
Like,
just,
how are you handling an entire pie size of one part of the universe? Isn't that like way too big? Surely it should be like sectioned off shapes or something.
hmm. Oh yeah, that was it's early comics, right? So they just had to make like, oh, this is the
Yeah,
sector.
they just always
Okay.
stuck with it. there must be complaints from neighbors, right? There's no way people are listening to this every now and then. There's an entire row of bullets. How?
Well, if this is the
How's
70s, I'd probably say no. Yeah, this is the 90s. There should be some form of complaints.
yeah, like what? But at least they're doing the idea of the abusive upbringing
Mm.
fairly well.
Right.
So I will say I don't. So in the original run where John Stewart is introduced, they make a point of contention that
Mhm.
Hal keeps his mask on, but John Stewart is the one that throws it away and doesn't use it. And I've always
Mhm.
found that to be like quite strong characterization to contrast the two of them immediately. But I guess
Right.
they're not gonna do this in this because Hal is just like publicly known already, which is kind of
Right.
disappointing in my opinion. But
Yeah,
I
I
guess we'll
agree.
see.
But I guess in original, I guess what they're going with, right? Like I keep saying the word "I guess" so much. Um, Hal Jordan was originally created in that golden era, right? Like Silver Age, maybe right after the Golden Age.
I want to say 60s is Hal Jordan's era. So whatever
So
that era
check
was.
the Golden Age and heading into the Silver Age. So
Mm.
it's that classic superhero image of the mask. He has gotta have like the gloves and like the superhero outfit.
Right.
And then you switch into the next generation who's coming in, and then it's a bit more of the gritty era of like post Watchmen or close to that time, where things need to be super grounded, right?
I want to say Jon Stewart was introduced before any of that. I want to say Jon Stewart was introduced like 70s. Because from what I remember, again, I could be completely wrong, but it's Hal in the 60s post Renaissance because of The Flash. And then it's Guy Gardner late 60s and
Right.
and then Jon Stewart like early to mid 70s, something around that. Yeah. But I don't
By the
know.
way, I always
just
thought
yeah.
that order was flipped. I thought Jon Stewart was second and then Guy Gardner was third.
No, not from what I remember at least. Again, I could be wrong, but from what I remember, it's always been Guy then John.
Right.
Yeah. And then Kyle came in the 90s. Are we saying the implication is his dad sort of trained him into this?
Maybe.
Because he was doing the whole "Are you afraid?" line back to him. Because when in again the original, Hal is recruited because of the Abensur death, right? The ring chooses him, but Jon Stewart is recruited because the Guardians go out and pick him specifically to be a Green Lantern. So
You're
are we
correct.
saying? But then how would his dad? I guess we'll see how they play that out.
Wasn't it Ganthet who picked Kyle Rayner?
Ganthet picked Kyle Rayner, yes, but I don't remember who picked Jon Stewart specifically. It might have been Ganthet as well.
I think it might have been like all of them.
Maybe,
right?
maybe, yeah. Yeah.
I guess the thing with this is like he is like trying to pull the real him kind of, because he's kind of been brought up in that military, in the
He's very
disciplinary
militaristic.
Yeah. So he doesn't speak out of turn. He like keeps to the hierarchy here, and he's like very much keeping within that. But he might be playing around in that a little bit, but he's still not there yet. And I guess that's what Hal really wants to bring out of him here, because he doesn't want like the next Green Lantern to be another guy, or like what Hal might have been in the beginning, right? Which was like just obey whatever the Guardians are saying, but now he can think for himself, and he knows maybe the
I
Guardians.
can see that.
Yeah, not always right. So I want you to be able to like think independently. You need to question stuff. You need to be able to react to and question everything that's happening.
I can see that. I can see that. What are you making right now to save your life right here?
Bouncy castle?
A bouncy castle inside the it would work probably. I can see that. I
Mhm.
can see that. I don't know.
Parachute?
I was thinking like, could you make a bunch of water around you or something, just like soften the impact of everything, right?
The thing with water is like I can when you try and imagine stuff, right? You can imagine solid stuff like, oh, I need a pencil, I need a pen. You can imagine solid stuff, but liquid things, can you imagine them that quickly? Because you need to think
I
of like
want to say I
viscosity, how it
can.
flows, and all that stuff. But I can't. I cannot imagine water that quickly.
I want to say I can, but maybe I don't know. Maybe under pressure you won't. Yeah,
Yeah,
fair
under
enough.
pressure, you might be able to do miraculous things. Sure.
Yeah, yellow going into green, parallax
Hmm.
confirmation.
Yes.
Well, we know this is going to at least start with the Manhunters, and assuming it's the same Manhunters that went awry,
Hmm.
you could eventually bend it into a parallax situation. I wonder if they would do what's his name, Cyborg Superman as well in this, but I don't think you would put it in this, right?
I think you could do an Emerald Twilight with this, but
Mm-hmm.
if Emerald Twilight was done with Parallax already planned, right,
Yeah.
to be the cause of whatever is going to happen,
Mm.
how would you execute in that way? So that is what I'm intrigued about, and they might do that in this.
Yeah, and it has to be like a big cosmic event. You have to get like everyone involved in it if you really want to like
Yeah,
hit that out of the park. So yeah,
you
but
have a
let's see.
lot of
Maybe they
things
go.
you have a lot of things you could do that and that, right? Like by that time, maybe John Stewart might come and realize, right? Like this is what Hal
Yeah,
has been trying to teach me, right? And now I have to take out Hal himself. And if Kyle Rayner is
surely
bottom
not.
there, if
Yeah,
Kyle
yeah.
Rayner is bottom there, we will probably see like how
Mm.
John Stewart would train a Kyle Rayner and see those parallels with how Hal trained himself, right? So he's like,
Yeah.
how like is there a differentiation between the methodologies, or like how many parallels do you see being born and the emotional connection there? So there's a good deal of places where this can go to if it
Yeah,
goes that way.
yeah.
We
We also, I guess, have to consider that at some point Guy Gardner gets a ring. I guess it doesn't have to be this ring. It seems like this ring will only be between Hal and
John,
John, and
yeah,
then Guy Gardner will get his own ring. Okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. How well do you think it's known that he's in training? Because it seems like everyone is gonna know Hal, surely, but will people know John by this point? His dad knows,
I
probably, but
wonder what is actually going on with Hal, right? Is he like the jaded Green Lantern now?
well, okay, here's the thing, right? I feel like if you actually want to do Hal, like the comics is always cursed with like every character is gonna stay a certain age, right? You're never gonna grow up. But
Right.
if Hal has gone through the amount of bullshit that the
Hmm.
Guardians have put him through, why wouldn't he become jaded and like distrusting of any of them, right? Like, oh
Yeah.
my god, the Guardians are the most useless group to have ever existed. I would be so frustrated having to deal with any of them. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm like,
I will give you
Hal
one
goes
better.
against
I
their
will give you
orders
one
like
better.
50% of the time. Anyways, like, how
I
does
will
he
give you
not
one
go
better.
crazy?
I will give you one better. Who's more useless?
Mm.
The same people who voted Lex Luthor to be president.
Okay, but the people who voted for Lex Luthor to be president aren't all powerful god-like beings which have the ability to create something as strong as the Green Lantern Corps and
I
are
think
still completely useless.
when Said goes and creates a Blue Lantern, he gets excommunicated, right? And he's like the most useful one out of them all.
Yep, Satan, Ganthet. Both of them
Yeah,
get
yeah.
excommunicated. The only two ones that were thinking straight, and like it's baffling to me.
Well, yeah.
So I
So
can
if
see
he's
I
a
can see that like if they go into the idea
Mhm.
of because of some event, because of Sinestro or the Guardians hiding something, Hal has become like super distrusting of anyone behind that is maybe like the major event that makes him go like screw all of this shit, right? I'm gonna do my own thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. The thing I was coming to was if he is jaded, he could be like the fading superhero.
Yeah, I think part of this is also handling like what do you do when the old guard is like going out and the new guard is coming in, right?
Hmm.
When you actually have like a universe where heroes are forced to age up and cycle through, like how would they actually handle it? Same idea as like
Right.
Watchmen with like Night Owl 1 and Night Owl 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Huh. Okay, that's an
Obviously.
interesting way to handle it.
Wasn't that obvious because he came out of the ring? I knew that was gonna be him. Like he
Well,
even
in
left
the
a dying
comics, it's
message.
different. That's the only reason I was a little confused. In the comics,
Right.
his sentience is like a girl, and
Mhm.
there's a storyline where they fall in love.
Uh,
Yeah, so that's why I was like a little baffled if they were doing that or it was something else. But yeah, okay, that makes sense. So something happened roughly 10 years ago, which makes him so distrustful of even the Green Lantern, like hierarchy, that he stops backing up his consciousness. Yes, 2006. Something happened.
I have a theory.
Go on.
He's already been affected by parallax, and this is just the paranoia fighting him.
It could be. It could be that like something happened. Like it could even be like Sinestro happened. Then he stops like trusting Green Lantern as a police force or whatever,
Hmm.
and that's when Parallax starts creeping in. Maybe.
I think the thing with Sinestro, if they do it, it might be like he knows Sinestro went rogue, right? But then he sees like, yeah, Sinestro's rogue and he's like done this messed up things. But at the same time, there is something uh, that is of like actual merit to what Sinestro is telling, and like
Mm.
Sinestro, like his methods might be wrong, but maybe what the Guardians is doing is not completely right either.
Yeah. Also, this feels like a much more like current day comics version of him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So again, my memory of a lot of the origins of this is from the Jeff Johns run, not from the original run, because I didn't actually read any of the original run. I just like heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
In the Jeff Johns run, Abin Sur whispers Sinestro to him, but in this,
Mm-hmm.
it's two words. So I
Mm-hmm.
wonder what those two words could be. Okay. So they're doing because in a lot of runs, it's just like Abensar is just the guy, you know. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in the Jeff Johnston stuff, he actually gets like a whole thing where he was transporting Atrocitus when his ship
Mm-hmm.
crashes.
Right.
So I don't know if they're doing something similar here. And by the sounds of it, he knows something about the Guardians not maybe wanting the lanterns to be around here for some reason. So
Sure.
that's interesting lore that they're just like adding on to
I think
this.
the Guardians not wanting anyone from Earth is simply on the basis of this is just a backwater planet. We don't want someone from here who has probably no idea of how the cosmos works to be a Green Lantern.
Maybe
Maybe,
it could
yeah,
be that,
just
yeah. But it's also
I
we
think
have to
we have
remember
to
like
consider the simplest explanation like that first before we go for something a bit crazier.
I was just gonna say we also have to consider that like metahumans have been known to be on Earth for 300 years, right?
Sure.
So there is like some activity regardless in this place for something.
Mhm.
Whether it's enough for the Guardians or not, that's the question. So that has to change at some point, surely, right? Earth
It
cannot
does change in the
have just
comics, right?
one.
It
Yeah,
does
yeah.
change in
In
the
the
comics.
comics, it does change. It goes from one per sector to two. To they open it up to a bunch when they need it for the war. So yeah.
I think the thing
So
with Earth is like for example, the MCU was like the Korean skull, not the Dauntless. This is like a midway point in both our empires, right?
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
Earth is like the hotspot. But in the DCU, I think it was like kind of like a wellspring of power kind of situation where so much powerful individuals are just spawned there.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's also there in the MCU with like Ursham's body and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But
With
yeah,
the Celestials and everything. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that's just being extended. That
Mm.
idea of like, yeah, there is something special with Earth, and I think that gets extended a lot more. That's why there's the really top tier Green Lanterns are from Earth, right? Hal
Yeah,
Jordan,
yeah. Earth has like 6 Green Lanterns now. 7,
yeah,
I
Guy
guess, if you
Gardner,
include
Kyle
like
Rayner. You have the A team of the Green Lanterns all from Earth.
yeah. But what I was just trying to say is like in the comics at least, when it goes from 1 to 2, it's
Hmm.
because of a major event is happening, right? So is that gonna be something that happens
Not lately,
here?
no. Not lately, no, because
No, I'm saying in the Jeff Johns run, right?
oh,
When
sure,
it
sure.
when it goes from 1 to 2, and I think this might be the first time in the comics it's actually gone from 1 to 2, sorry. It's because of the Sinestro Corps stuff is like looming and a bunch of like past events have happened. So I wonder if something like that similar is going to happen in the future, which causes there to be at least 2 Green Lanterns. Or is it just going to be a case of like, nah, screw it, it's just 2 for Earth, right?
There's got to be an event of some kind, I
Yeah.
believe.
My god. How big is their place?
All right, now let's address something.
You could build a city in this place. What the flip?
Let's address something, right?
Yeah.
A well-known superhero comes to you, tells you this is an alien problem, right?
Mm.
Why the hell do you not let him do his job,
Mm. Well, it seems like
right?
there's some jurisdictional like difference that they are trying to keep in their planets, which is fair, right? Even if you're
If he
on
tells
any
you,
other planet.
if he tells you he suspects it's this specific species of alien, where when they are dead, they will release this poisonous gas that will kill the whole planet, and I need to take care of it. Are you gonna
Uh-huh.
wait for jurisdictional stuff, or just gonna take care of it, right?
Well, there's no that's the thing, right? For their perspective, there's nothing that points to aliens yet. That's
Mm-hmm.
the thing. That's the difference. If there was stuff that pointed to that immediately, then yes. But I think in the real world, it would be fair to have some divide in the jurisdictional access between, say, a space cop from a space entity, which isn't
Mm-hmm.
like naturally part of your ecosystem, anyways, right? Because what
Right.
if you suddenly give them access to just everything? How long are you going to trust them to like not take over your planet suddenly, or say what Hal Jordan does with Parallax, just wipe everyone out suddenly? Like, how
Mm-hmm.
much? Where do you draw the line of trusting these people? Right? That's the
I
problem.
guess I guess you got to go with the Batman Begins solution, right? Which is escalation.
The what? Sorry.
Escalation.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's what they're waiting for. Because by the sounds of it, he's done this before, and they've let him handle it when it was clear signs of aliens before.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at this point they're just waiting for that, maybe. So I guess we'll see.
Mm-hmm. I gotta also say this right now because I think so far everything we've seen, right?
Mm.
It's less of like him being a dick, and that it's more of him trying to like instill this mindset of you need to question everything. You need to see things the way that I've begun to see things, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the comics, anyways, he's kind of like brash and rough around the edges for basically his
Mhm.
whole run, right?
Yeah.
He's not one to like just go along with things as is. He will do it his own way, even if they're stupid to everyone else, because he
Mhm.
trusts his like way of doing things more than anything, right? And that is the reason why like Guy Gardner and Jon Stewart like absolutely back him. Even
Mhm.
like post Parallax happening, right? The original Parallax
Mhm.
from Emerald Twilight.
Yeah.
Basically everyone distrusts Hal, including
Mhm.
Batman, right? Batman starts like
I
bad
remember. I
mouthing
remember.
Hal.
I remember. I remember
And Jon Stewart is the one that steps in and says, like, okay, you need to calm down. This is still someone I deeply respect, right?
that.
So
Mhm.
I think like this his like sensibilities of the way he does things is what develops that like trust in Hal for John and Guy Gardner and whatnot anyways, right? That
Right.
they will
Yeah.
back him. So yeah. Whose house is this in real life? That's what I want to know. How much land does one person need? Like, come on.
Who could you imagine owning this house?
Well, the thing is, compared to Australia, at least, the
Mhm.
housing prices are like much cheaper in America, which is surprising,
Mhm.
even considering like the financial crisis and everything.
Right.
So yeah, you could definitely get like ranches in the middle of nowhere for a lot cheaper than you would think. But even
Right.
then, this is like insanely big.
Hmm.
Yeah,
This could
I know.
be
Yeah,
10
go
or
ahead.
so.
Yeah, yeah, legit. So, unfortunately, our episode 1 recording ended up crashing at some point. So, we're just going to quickly talk about what we missed on that first episode before we get into the second episode here.
Mm-hmm.
His constructs look quite good here, right?
Yeah, he's making a bit more solid stuff. But I think it's more stuff he's very comfortable with.
Yeah, yeah. We later find out that he's making smaller stuff on purpose, right? Because he's conserving battery for
Yeah,
his
yeah.
ring. Yeah,
Yeah, he's saving his energy, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Which is also why he doesn't go after the guy in the
Yeah.
chase. Yeah, this line also seemed interesting, where he said that you sound like a woman in debt, almost
Mm-hmm.
like she sort of knows what's happening, but she's like scared to, you know, put it out in the public in case something really bad happens or something, right?
Right.
Yeah, as if like she's doing this because she owes someone here for something.
Yeah, we recognize this actor.
Yeah, from he was from No Country for Old Men and Walking Dead and something else, right? Those
Yeah,
are
a
the
couple of
three big
other
things.
shows. Uh,
Yeah. We were also saying he looks way too young to
yeah,
be
yeah,
to
insanely,
be
yeah.
his
And then
grandfather.
we also recognize sort of the grandmother.
Yeah, yeah, from Delhi Valley.
Yes, from Delhi Valley.
uh,
It's again, she too looks too young to be a grandmother.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. I also wanted to reiterate my concern about Tom King and
Mm-hmm.
his writing a little bit. So for those who don't know, Tom King, he's been a comic book writer for quite some while. I think he's most well known for his Mr. Miracle run,
Mm-hmm.
and other than that, he's done like a Batman run, which is very divisive. Most people don't like it, but there's a few that are like staunch defenders of it. And he's done like he wrote the original comic for Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, things like that. And though his writing is like generally okay, there are some times where he goes a little off the beaten path because he's kind of known as partially like the deconstructive guy. So he'll try to like deconstruct characters and slightly alter where they
Mm-hmm.
go.
Right.
But before he was a comic book writer, he worked in the CIA, after 9/11, and according to his own words, he was one of the three people that orchestrated the Iraq invasion.
Wow.
So he has blood on his hands. And once you learn that fact, you can see that in his writing. There are like certain characters he'll write or storylines he'll write which are so like reflective of clearly his own life. And sometimes he'll write them remorsefully, sometimes he'll write them like, you know, a bit more like villainously. But
Right.
the real problem is that even though he's somewhat expressed his like partial remorse for it, he's also said that he would go back to the CIA if they asked him to do it again in a heartbeat. Right?
Mm.
So I don't know how much remorse he really has over his like involvement in any of that.
Right. Right.
And I hope that his like influence doesn't, you know, make some of the storytelling in this, especially because they're clearly choosing to handle like colonial tropes and stuff
Mm-hmm.
in a way that can easily be like construed or like taken in bad faith, right?
Right.
Especially in a world where like if I have to say more than the one alien that is Superman, I don't think like you don't need more of an argument than that, right? Against
Mm-hmm.
the idea of like, you know, all aliens bad or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But
yeah, I just hope they
it's
handle
kind
it
of
well.
the argument that Hal is making in this scene, right? Most of the aliens species out there are quite peaceful.
Yeah, yeah. I just hope like they handle it well and they don't like leave any room for like bad apples or bad actors to misconstrue it in a negative way, right?
Well, let's see if saner minds are going to prevail.
Yeah. But moving on from that, this was really funny. Finding out he slept with his wife.
Yep.
We thought she was an alien initially, but I don't know after this, honestly.
Yeah, it made us out at the beginning, but yeah.
Yeah. And then him saying nothing better than eating off another man's grill was
Yeah.
hilarious. And not John, Hal just being like, I'm impressed off that.
Yeah, Hal didn't figure it out, but only when he figures it out, he's like, oh yeah, top notch.
Yep. Yep. And you can see his smile at the end of that, just like slightly cracking up. John smile.
John seemed to be fully raised on this premise that he would always become a Green Lantern, to be someone
Yep.
without
Yep.
fear.
Yep.
Everything that John does comes off from that angle, whereas what Hal is trying to do here is to cultivate a healthy sense of paranoia or skepticism in John to question
Yep.
authority and to question circumstances because he wants to ensure that the power, if the ring goes to someone new, which he doesn't really want it to happen, that
Mm.
they are very much a person of his choosing who questions things and like looks for different solutions in a scenario rather than what he's told to do or just like follow orders to the dot or something like that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
John is pre-made to be following that kind of a hierarchy, and Hal is always just trying to break it. And that's
Yes. Yes.
the kind of mini conflict that they are having.
Yeah. Yeah. Al is probably going about it in a little bit of a roundabout way, but I think
Mm-hmm.
that's part of also like he doesn't want to tell them this. He wants them to start thinking about it that way,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I absolutely believe that what Hal is choosing to do is right because the Guardians have proven themselves to be not a good source of judgment in many scenarios. If the
Yeah.
potential enemies or the villains of this arc are who we think they are, then
Mm.
This is gonna be something that just shows again Hal's point that you need to have a healthy bit of skepticism, and you need to
Yeah.
question where you're told to go, what you're told to do.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
often create their own villains, so
precisely. Yeah.
yeah. I think there's also like an interesting parallel between these two in that before the Jeff Johns run, the motto for Green Lanterns was usually fearlessness, right? And I think
Mm-hmm.
we see that better reflected in John than Hal here. But
Mm-hmm.
after the Jeff Johns run, right, the motto wasn't fearlessness, it was the ability to overcome fear.
Yeah,
And I
it's
think Hal better
willpower.
represents that side of it.
Yeah, willpower despite the fear, right?
Yeah. And I think that's also maybe part of why he's going about it this way as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? It isn't, he doesn't want him to be like perfectly stoic. He needs him to like break so that he can learn how to overcome that break, right?
Yeah.
That's what really will make him a good Green Lantern. I remember you pointed out these shots were great with the gloss reflection.
Yes, the glass reflections, and
Yeah,
it was. I was wondering how difficult it would have been to like shoot the scene to maintain both sides of the glass. But
yeah,
we also theorized that there could be like really good green screen work with what's on the other side of glass shot in a completely different time and what's on this side shot
yeah,
at a different time. But yeah, the acting
yeah,
prowess alone in this scene is insane to get all the
yeah.
emotions right.
And her breakdown from saying alien my ass to being like, oh, when he says, let's say I am an
Hmm.
alien, was
Yeah.
so good. Uh,
I mean, that's the thing, right? With Hal, is his approach might be kind of unorthodox, but he has results.
yeah, I mean, in the comics, Hal's approach is always gut instinct. The problem is you can never prove it until it's already done, right? So
Hmm.
it's like you just have to full faith him until it's done and just hope it works out. There's no like he won't give you any like in between lines. Uh, and then yeah, him putting him up against the glass,
Yeah,
and the first thing he corrects him up on is that Harry Potter went to Hogwarts, even though
he does.
he just mocked the Green Lantern oath. It's so
Yeah,
funny.
he doesn't give a shit. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It seems like he still like cares for her. That's why he gets mad about it, right? But it's not like he's overtly like pointing towards that being the only thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Initially, I thought this was like a memory fragment sitting there, but then we are visibly shown that it's Hal's dead body.
yeah, and we also can see like the ranch that they were on is like completely destroyed. So we know something has happened at this ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we get not Hal Jordan, John Stewart with the goatee, which is like
Hmm.
prominent from the animated series.
Yes.
Yeah,
He looks kind of wrong with the goatee here. Like, I needed him a bit more bulky before he got the goatee, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then we were thinking like, could this be an alien? Could this be like a construct that he's left behind or something of that nature? But John does like cry. He like lets down a tear when he sees this. So I don't know even.
Yeah.
Like it seems to be pointing towards this is the real, this is legit. And then it's the question of where did the ring go, right?
Hmm.
But overall, like the cinematography is great. All three actors that we have here are really
Hmm.
solid. They're
Yep.
all like fun, like bouncing off each other. And um, as a pilot, this was like a pretty damn good pilot to like hook people in and like quell any like
Hmm.
major like backlash people had before this.
Imagine a pilot that actually has a pilot inside the episode.
Now we're here with episode 2 of Lanterns. I will say before we start, I on YouTube I saw a bunch of like mid to small size like creators come out like that hadn't either posted in a long time or were like long term like Green Lantern fans from like the 80s or 90s come
Right.
out and talking about like how much they like the direction of this show because of
Mhm.
how like partially how different it is, but also how familiar certain things feel.
Right.
So yeah, it's nice to see like Green Lantern fans getting their like justice after, the tragedy that was the 2008 movie.
2012. So.
Probably, yeah, 2012 movie. Probably one of like the biggest factors of like bringing down Hal's character post like Jeff Johns and everything.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Go
If
on.
if it's executed properly, I don't mind Hal not being the main Green Lantern, because so far with the
Yeah.
motivations, you've really shown what Hal wants to do here, and
Yeah.
it's a good version of how to use Hal Jordan as a character, and I'm glad they're using it this way.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. All right. Let's go. My dad has done this something similar to this to wake me up before.
My dad has never done this.
Has someone done it to you before in general?
My grandmother.
It wasn't this much water. It'd be like a small, like handful of water, literally, and it
Uh-huh.
would go on top. But that was it. He used
And
to do
I'd be
that at
like,
one point to wake me up for like a few years.
this is a Sunday. What's your problem, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. uh, he's told us how to fly. He just said, "Think fly." What are you thinking with this ring right now? How would you fly?
Me?
Yep.
I'd need something like propulsion and like wings for like guidance and stuff. If it's like
Right.
easy, right? If it's easy where you can like create a thought and the thought is just gonna take over, I do the syllabus of a word.
Yep, yep. I feel like if it was that easy, then it wouldn't be a problem, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it
But I
seems
think
like, yeah,
it's the question of, do you need to maintain the active thought of flight,
yeah,
or whether it's like once you train enough, you can get like, I thought of flying, and flying is
passively.
just, yeah, it's gonna happen passive.
Just like how do you imagine yourself flying without like any external help, right? Like are you trying to imagine yourself floating first and foremost, then
Mm-hmm.
trying to like move directionally? Like if I close my eyes, I can imagine myself like lifting off the ground slightly. But
Mm-hmm.
does that help in any way for this? I don't know.
It should, in theory.
Let's see. Whoa. You can keep the construct without the ring? That's new, right?
Whoa. Yeah, that's new. Hold on. Give it a second.
Yeah, even he's like puzzled by it. He's
Yeah, but this
confused.
is but this is too much energy.
Yeah, but sure, there even the ring is like out of energy. So where's this coming from? Is this just like his willpower? Like what is happening?
I think it's like you had to put the thing with John Stewart was John Stewart in the comics had an architect's background, right?
Yeah, yeah, he was an architect before he was military background ever.
Yeah, so he had the that structural mindset in his thing. So he imagines solid things much better. Whereas Hal Jordan is fighter pilot, instinctual, adventurous, and he just like creates crazy stuff out of there. And Kyle Rayner, I think, was artist. So he'd go
Artist.
for the
Yeah.
most creative options that you could think of that could solve the
Yeah.
problem. But here I think it's like used enough energy to give this construct a bit of sentience and long-term permanence.
That must
So
take a shit ton of energy, surely, right?
which is why maybe
Especially
the
because it's without the ring.
yeah, which is why the ring is depleted now.
Maybe.
But as I remember, this kind of thing was banned in the by the core, right? Where creating life from the ring. This is the thing that kind of
I
Hal
think
violated
so.
with Coast City, right?
Yeah, yeah. So in Coast City, after Cyborg, Superman, and Mongol destroyed all of Coast City, he,
Hmm.
like, out of grief, recreates the entirety of Coast City, including, like, reflections of his mom and dad, and he talks to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had the ring on then at least, right? I know
Hmm.
current day comics, I think like Hal not Hal, John is like not doing as much Green Lantern stuff because of some
John kind of
reason.
retired. John kind of retired, right? Like he
Yeah,
left the Corps because his mom was sick and he went to take care of his mom, something like that.
yeah, and to take care of his mom. His mom was particularly like grief stricken by the loss of his sister, and
Uh-huh.
he has reconstructed his sister
Mm,
currently. And it's not like this bird. It's like the sister looks like a normal human being.
right.
It's not green or anything. It's fully like properly colored in and everything, which is like
Mm.
insane. So I wonder if this is like we're drawing a similar like parallel here, where he can just like construct just living beings because of his will.
Well, in the comics, I think Guy Gardner has. I don't know if it's in the mainline comics. I think it's an offshoot. Guy Gardner goes and has half of his lower body blown off beneath the rib cage,
Mm.
and he regenerates all his internal organs and his external muscle tissue and everything using the ring. But
Yep.
it takes so much of his focus that he's barely able to function as a human being, but unable to use the ring for anything else, which is
Yep.
also
Yep.
kind of like a drawback at that point.
Yeah. So he does have to concentrate on it to keep it going.
He's maintaining
Interesting.
some form of maybe passive thought.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be like forefront concentration. It's just some sort of concentration.
How can you get a bird on a plane though? That's the tricky part.
It can fly next to the plane, right?
Hmm. Bird strikes bring down a lot of planes, so I wonder how safe that's gonna be.
True. I didn't realize how small this town is. Like this screenshot is basically it. That's the
Hmm.
entire thing.
Right.
And then it's just the ranch, which is like most of the town.
Not gonna lie, whenever I think of town, I'm imagining this is the kind of size, right? I do not imagine something that's big enough, which usually shows up in like a mini city. That's the kind of, which is just
Yep.
rural. That's when most of the other shows.
Yeah. Which should make sense then, right?
Yeah, yeah. This is the town that comes to my mind whenever I think town.
Yep. That's the rental car, right? That he got from the airport?
I don't know.
Why didn't he just take the crowbar? Why did he
Yeah,
have to
that's
take
that's what
the
I was thinking as well. Why couldn't you take the crowbar?
This, I guess, also is like him saying you don't shoot people with a gut feeling is also probably why he's conservative with using the ring, right?
Hmm.
Even if he has the gut feeling, he it's like a police officer's gun. They're not. He's like very like he'll hold it back as long as possible if it doesn't need to be used,
I think
which
this
would
is
make
coming
sense.
from a place of he's previously used it on
Yeah,
the
more
basis of a
brashly
gut feel.
maybe.
Yeah, on the basis of a
Yeah,
gut feeling.
yeah, and it hasn't gone so well. I like. I assume his
Or
gut
he's
feeling has been
seen,
like honed over the years, right?
yeah,
It's
or
been trained.
he's seen other people use it, you know, like Sinister,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
example.
yep,
Right.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say as well. Yeah. Why is it so empty? It
This
feels like
feels like the Sidemen
eerily
house.
empty.
This feels like the Sidemen house.
It does. But at least they had furniture in it. This doesn't even have that.
I
Is this
mean,
just like a
you see the
sorry?
launcher in the far end, right, with the next to the
Yeah,
TV.
one piece.
I think
Just the TV.
I'm this kind
That's
of a
it.
human being. I probably be like that. Just get one chair. Harry
With the
Potter.
Harry Potter cast. Okay. Do you think he was part of the movie? No, he just showed up for the red carpet,
Yeah, red carpet. Yeah.
right? That's so funny. This is, you know what this is?
Uh-huh.
My uncle Tsukishima was
Oh
at the
yeah.
Harry Potter cast.
The
That's
DC
so
fans might
funny.
not get that reference, but the Bleach fans will.
Yep. Huh. Did they change the color grading on the suit?
I think so.
It looks so much more green in this compared to
Hmm.
the thing.
I think they heard the complaints, maybe.
Maybe. I still wish. I guess maybe if you put it on, it'll be a bit more brighter. I guess the other argument is this is maybe like the weathered. suit rather than like a brand new one. That's a
Yeah,
little less brighter.
whether it's a Devlile rooms, and so many things.
Yeah.
So
Holy Mogo doesn't socialize. Okay, that makes me happy. Because that means they're not afraid of the comic book stuff.
yeah, yeah.
They will just throw it in. For people who don't know, Mogo
Maybe keep
is,
that one a mystery.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, he's a prominent player in the Green Lantern lore, and there's a specific reason he doesn't socialize. And the other thing I will say is, just because I want to give the guy the flowers, it's also a character created by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons. So,
Oh, yeah.
yep.
That's great.
So now what? We have 3 pocket dimensions in the DC universe. Peacemaker has one. Green Lantern has one. Lex has one. Right?
Uh-huh.
We're just passing around pocket dimensions, just casually.
If pocket dimensions are the big deal, then the DC big bad that's soon are probably going to come up, like the Thanos build, is going to be Mixel build, like more than anyone else.
Interesting design. This feels like they're a little closer to almost Alan Scott's like Green Lantern design.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
particularly like this one, but I don't particularly
Hmm.
hate this one either.
Do you know where the name the idea of the comic for Green Lantern started from?
I do not. Enlighten me.
So I don't remember his name exactly, unfortunately. If I'll put it up on screen for anyone that's watching. But um, there was someone that a comic book writer that just needed to make money. Unfortunately, he had some issues. He needed to make money, and he approached DC with like, "I need some money. I'll give you a story," and so on and so forth. So they gave him like a time ultimatum to come up with a story, which was in like 48 hours or something. And so as he was leaving that meeting, going to the subway station, there was a guy on the subway holding out a red lantern, which was to signal to for the subways to stop, right? And he
Mm-hmm.
would swap it out for a green lantern when it was fine. And that's where the original name for Green Lantern started. So I wonder if they're almost using those sorts of lanterns as like an inspiration for this.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's
subway
interesting.
card. Yep.
Good point.
So they've known about the aliens before they even came here. They've been monitoring the aliens completely, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, why would you set this up, right? You don't set this up after it, right? You set it up before, so you don't need it, right? In
Yeah,
theory,
but who are they now? Like, how are they so organized? How do they have a
I assume
system?
this is the Makins branch people, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course, but like,
Yeah,
still, the identity is puzzling me.
yeah. Who's behind the NDA?
Hmm.
He kept concentration while unconscious. How?
I don't think he keeps concentration. It's passive. It's completely passive.
But Hal said he needs to keep concentration, otherwise it disappears, right?
That's what Hal thinks, I think. But I think with John, it's
Maybe.
different.
Okay, that could be true. That could be true.
This
Uh
is giving me two ideas. One,
huh.
Manhunters exist, and they probably are the villains of the series, maybe.
A Manhunter exists at least.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know about how
Manhunters
many.
as a species exist, and they are.
Yeah.
But the other thing that gives me a bit more of an interest is because the Manhunters exist, Atrocitus exists, and thus the Red Lantern Corps exists.
Well, I was thinking, is he Atrocitus?
I do not think so. Atrocitus
Because
is
he
like
literally
almost.
says, like, you know, in his own home planet, they were there
Mhm.
and engineered a Holocaust.
I think the thing with Atrocitus is he's the last living person in the species. I think.
Yeah. So, um, once the Manhunters go awry, they wipe out everyone in Sector 666 except for 5 beings, which are
Mm-hmm.
called the 5 incursions.
Mm-hmm.
And those 5 incursions are not immediately turned into like lanterns or anything. They initially, because they have like magical powers and stuff, they have some like future sight and they cast some spells, which is where the Blackest Night prophecy starts from,
Right.
and also where the downfall of Sinestro begins.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I wonder if, by the sounds of it, he is either adjacent to like Atrocitus or he is Atrocitus himself, something like that.
I do not think this is Atrocitus at all, but maybe adjacent
Yeah,
is a good option.
yeah, let's see. Okay. So he's talking about Abensur here. Rest.
I assume
Abensur
so.
was transporting the Manhunter. Something happened. Manhunter maybe broke free or something, and they ended up crashing into um, Nebraska, Rushville.
Mm-hmm.
And that also might be what Avensur's lost 2 words were from last episode. It could be Manhunter, right?
What is with all the aliens crashing into Central American states?
Just a big wide open place. Nothing there,
Yeah.
right? The middle of nowhere. Okay, this could also be like maybe this is an Atrocitus as well, right? Because the Atrocitus incident was pre Green Lanterns even existing. So
Yes.
yeah, but they could also change around the timeline. Let's see.
I think the Atrocitus incident is why the Manhunters were dismantled, right?
Yeah. They're basically the Manhunters were sentient AIs. They had um at some point they had an epiphany where it's like, oh, you can't commit a crime if there's no living beings. So let's just get
Yeah.
rid of all the living beings, right?
Yeah.
No one to commit the crimes. So yeah, that's what happens. I know it later got like retconned into like one of the Guardians went um astray and coded it into the Manhunters or something, but I
Yeah.
don't think that retcon is good because
Yeah.
it takes away like the idea of them going alright. Yeah. Okay, so maybe the Makins are protecting the Manhunter.
Mm,
Yeah, the
maybe.
person they've signed the NDA with is the Manhunter. Hmm.
I think the NDA stuff is all made up. That's just something
Yeah, I guess
the
it could
guy
be as well.
he's just verbose enough to make it work.
Let's see. Let's see. What is this? Just like on Wikipedia? Where is she getting this information from? Is
Let's
this
see.
public knowledge,
Let's
or
see.
is this like a situation of they had a battle like close to Earth, and that's why Earth knows?
I don't know. I don't care. I want to see
Uh,
what how they're gonna reveal it. I want this
uh,
to progress a bit more before we speculate.
Mm. That would probably also explain why she doesn't want too much stuff happening here. If you've been in Gotham, if you've survived the stuff that you have to survive in Gotham, you'd be quite happy to be in a town where there's nothing happening, hopefully.
The
You'd want
thing
to
is,
keep it that way.
if she survived Gotham, she wouldn't make a big deal out of whatever is happening here because like whatever is happening here is like a Tuesday in Gotham.
Yeah. That's why I think she's trying to keep it as low key as possible, right?
Yeah.
Whereas John is just like, nope, screw it, just sending everything. Not John, sorry, Hal.
Yeah.
Uh, Planting the seed of doubt.
Is this the Manhunter?
I want to say no, but it could be honestly.
I have some suspects. I don't think the guy
Hmm.
is not
Which guy? Sorry.
uh, the granddad Macon or whatever.
Oh, I was gonna say he was on my suspect list. He was kind of high on that list.
No, I don't think because it's too obvious. But I think the son might be.
I think that's why they would do it, though, right?
I think the sun might
because
be.
it's too obvious. The sun I can see as well. No, the sun I can't see actually. It can't be the sun because we know where he is in the future.
Not the kid.
Then which one?
I'm not talking, not the granddad. I'm talking about just the dad.
Um, the sheriff's husband.
Yeah, yeah, him.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Uh huh.
Not the granddad. That guy, no, I don't think so because it's too obvious.
I think it
But
could still be the granddad because it's too obvious.
right, right.
Yeah, yeah. We know it can't be the kid. We know it can't be the sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are like the two major ones. It could also just be someone we haven't seen yet, which is also likely. Okay, okay, so we got confirmation that he was at least holding it.
Subconsciously.
Yeah, but regardless, he needed concentration to hold it.
I think that's the kind of thing where, like, you
Right.
maintain like a persona in public and stuff like that, right?
Meaning?
Meaning you might be a different person in private, but when you're in public, you maintain this persona, and that's kind of subconscious, right? Like how you act with certain people, stuff like that. So you have to, like, there is a level of concentration that's being maintained there to be that person in difference, but it's kind of subconscious. You're not actively doing it. So I think it must be on that level of the mind where he's maintaining this construct.
Which makes it even more impressive, right? He doesn't
Yeah,
even need to think about keeping this thing alive. It
yeah,
just happens. It's just that natural for him.
yeah.
Which is then like you just made it like two steps even more insane, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's saying that to do this normally would be like almost impossible, and he's just doing it casually, even through being knocked out and whatnot. He just like subconsciously can keep it alive.
Yeah.
There's something up with John here. Is this a willpower thing? Is there like are we meant to be suspicious of him? Is he the manhunter?
I mean, the
Like
thing with John again is that Hal knows that this guy is skilled, but Hal wants to instill the mentality properly into him before he gives anything.
right, but this is something like even he was shocked about. This is not like something that he was teaching by any means, right? He was like, "What the hell? How are you doing this?" He was just
We
observing.
we do not know if the Core City incident is yet to happen in this universe.
I assume it hasn't happened yet, or we don't even know if it will happen at all in this.
Hmm.
They could just do a completely different thing. This is the other thing I forgot to mention. There's like a realistic chance that Superman growing up was looking up to Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, right? In this universe.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is he implying the first greatest threat he's facing is Jon Stewart?
I don't know. Maybe it's the Brainiac. Maybe.
I don't think they're gonna bring Brainiac into this. I'm not
No,
gonna
not
lie.
not into this, but like in general, this is just general threats, right? But it's on the same level of saying global warming is the third biggest threat you're facing right now. Right? Because you don't know what the other one is, but right now the second biggest one is Manhunter. Also, I hate the
Hmm.
production design for the corridors outside. It looked like a human tech center corridor.
I could see that.
Not here, there. Like all the
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Make it alien. Like inside, this place looks good. The inside.
Yeah. If this is insinuating that John, because how does he even know about Jon Stewart? That's my question. That's the other question. Because John has only been in training for 2 months. He would have been chosen what, maybe a week, 2 weeks, a month before that at
He
most.
he probably has the sources. There are other people who can visit him and tell him there's someone who's trying to gonna probably replace Hal Jordan with someone else.
Hmm. That's the question. Where is he getting these sources from? Right.
Hmm.
And then if he is insinuating that Jon Stewart is his greatest threat that he's currently facing, is it just because he's been trained up as the replacement,
You
or?
You've jumped to that conclusion, but I do not think that is accurate.
Well, that's why I'm saying if he is insinuating that, right? I'm not saying this is definitive. I'm saying if he is insinuating it, why? Why is that the thing that he's particularly like noting on? Because these guys have a long history, right? This is like literal chains of like mentorship right here. It's like Abin Sur to Sinestro to Hal Jordan to
Mm-hmm.
um,
John Stewart, yeah.
Jon Stewart. So why would he be interested in this like up and comer green upstart? That's why I think he brought it up specifically.
Maybe.
These guys have like a 2 decade long friendship where even in the middle of their like bloodiest feuds, they reluctantly call each other friends at times.
Yep, so much more threats, but I'm glad they kind of
Interesting.
expanded the world this way.
Yeah. They gave us the suit and a planet that's not Earth
Mm-hmm.
in the second episode. Very nice. Also, they split up the lanterns, but I think it works because they established that Hal is a detective regardless of his ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
And John is capable regardless of like him having a ring as well.
Yeah.
He is like well trained fighter and mentally strong as well. Regardless of the bird, even just the experiencing the Holocaust, he stayed strong through that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, John is Hal is so much of a dick for doing this. Completely unnecessary. This is just a dick move to ruin his the rental car and splash him with water. Like why?
The water splash thing really
Complete
gets to
dick
you.
move. Otherwise, great episode. I don't think I have anything else to say. It's just like I feel like these first 3 or 4 episodes are gonna give us the baseline of our mystery, and the other 4 or so is gonna be the unraveling of it. So
Possibly.
yeah, we're slowly getting up to speed and figuring out where to go from there.
I have a thought.
Uh huh.
Do you think whoever authorized the show told the executive producers, oh, we really love Yellowstone and the Tyler Sheridan property, so we want this to be set in like a Western location and like in a
I
that
mean,
kind of a setting because they
I've
literally
I've
call the
heard
place Sheridan County Police and stuff, right? So like, why? What?
I've heard like they were extensively trying to go for the True Detective vibe. True
Hmm.
Detective, Argo, No Country from Old Men, like that sort of vibe. To the point that they literally hired some of the actors from those series to play characters in this. So, yeah, very much so. But I think it works because if you can prove Green Lantern as a concept on this, then you can expand it to any scale regardless, right?
Hmm.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I think this is good because it just happens to be like a mystery crime detective story,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
happens to have a Green Lantern in it, and that's the way to go.
Yeah, and it also kind of like establishes how the world like treats the concept of a Green Lantern and how they've like come across it. Because in this world, it's like they've had an extensive. Well, before he came on, there was 250 years of metahumans already, anyways, right?
Hmm.
So he's just like another guy as far as they're concerned. He's not
Yep.
some other special guy. Like this planet has been dealing with these guys for well over 2 centuries now.
Hmm.
He's not any more special than them in that sense. Anyways, I think we should
Yeah.
call it there for today.
Right.
We'll see you guys
Hopefully,
next
this made it
time.
to the recording this time.
Yeah, hopefully it did.
All right.
We'll
Thank you for
see you
watching.
guys next time. Peace.
Peace.